Mineral extraction activities have significant environmental impacts, both in terms of local ecosystem degradation and global climate change. Extraction and primary processing of metals and other minerals are responsible for 20% of global carbon emissions and 13% of global particulate matter health impacts. Other impacts include habitat loss, loss of biodiversity, soil erosion, and water pollution, while at the same time setting the conditions for adverse social effects on local communities and labor exploitation. The ever-growing demand for these products and their role in the ecological transition, as in the case of electric mobility, makes this activity crucial for the new environmental challenges on a global scale. For the same reasons, they are essential to global economics, being a scarce resource, with great powers competing to guarantee a share of their usage. Cobalt is widely considered a critical material used in many sectors, ranging from chemical, metal, graphics industry, and electronics to healthcare. Cobalt is an essential component of the lithium-ion batteries used in almost all laptops, mobile phones, and electric vehicles. Cobalt is typically measured in single-digit percentages in proportion to the primary mineral extracted, typically nickel, iron, or copper. Pure-play cobalt mines do not exist today, and only a handful of small cobalt-only resource sites are known to exist. By 2050, the demand of cobalt is expected to grow as much as 4 to 20 times its current size. The supply chain that feeds the materials into that industry must also expand at a similar rate. In 2018, about 65% of cobalt was mined in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in the Katanga province in the south of the country. But for much of its recent history, the hunger for minerals in the state has caused environmental damage and stoked violent conflict, contributing to the country's protracted humanitarian crisis. Historically, mining operations have not benefited local communities and, together with governance challenges, have led to insecurity and poverty, creating the conditions for violence and labor exploitation cycles. Other significant producers include Canada and Australia, where cobalt is produced chiefly as a byproduct of nickel extraction. In 2021, cobalt was the 422nd most traded product globally, with a total trade value of $7.71 billion. Exports of cobalt saw a significant increase of 54.6% from 2020 to 2021. China dominates the global cobalt imports and the production of refined cobalt, which accounted for more than 60% of the world's total in 2018. In 2020, the European Union included cobalt among the primary materials of strategic interest, together with other rare earth, and changed its mining policy to extract raw materials from indigenous resources, a reversal of the trend of recent decades in which mining was relocated to other parts worldwide. These materials are critical to the accomplishment of the European Green New Deal, and the geographical concentration of cobalt mining and refining is a potentially serious risk to future cobalt supply. Current cobalt extraction in Europe derives from 3 mines in Finland: the magmatic sulfide deposit at Kevitsa, the Kaililahti deposit of volcanogenic massive sulfide affinity, and the black shell-hosted deposit at Sotkamo. While refinement activities occur in Finland, Belgium, and France. Recent studies identified 509 cobalt-bearing deposits and occurrences in 25 countries in Europe. In particular, the so-called Alpine orogenic belt, whose European segment includes an array of mountains ranging from Spain to Bulgaria, is an up-and-coming area for potential cobalt-related minerals mines. The exploitment of this area would drastically alter the European role in cobalt extraction and, therefore, Europe's position in the global supply market of this material. The Alps, considered in their physical entity, are a dynamic organism on which anthropic activities have been concentrated in a few centuries, but produced radical transformations. Since the 17th century, the industrialization of extractive processes favored the intensification of mining activities. In addition, the the exploitation of hydroelectric power and the spread of winter sports radically altered the alpine landscape. In the eastern Alps, several cobalt vein deposits formed during the Alpine orogeny. High cobalt grades supported mining districts intermittently from the 16th century until 1959. In 2019, the Piedmont region granted a mining company, the Australian Altiman, a license to explore the presence of cobalt, nickel, copper, silver, and associated minerals in Punta Corna, 2,960 meters above sea level. This area is included in the territory of the municipalities of Ucelho and Balm. In December 2022, the license was renewed and extended to start a second exploration phase. The two towns, characterized by strong depopulation, maintain an economy based on tourism, especially in summer, and agro-pastoral production. The Ucelho mines have been exploited since 1753. Cobalt was mined for use as a color pigment. In the 1930s, when mining the mineral in the high mountains became too expensive, the Punta Corna mine was closed. According to Altiman, the first explorations of the Piedmontese site reveal a mineral content similar to that of the Bu Azar mine in Morocco, considered the one with the highest cobalt content in the world. At the same time, these figures were not substantiated by other studies. Local authorities in Ucelho welcomed the operation, pushed by the promise of new jobs, local development, and that mining will not affect the landscape. But how many jobs can modern mining create, considering its high level of automation? Is mining compatible with an idea of tourism connected to nature, with the Malg economics, with alpinism, and with skiing? The construction of how many new infrastructures will be required, and what will be their environmental impact? On the other side of Punta Corna, the municipality of Balm seeks to preserve and develop its territory as well. But, unlike Ucelho, the City Council approved a resolution against mineral exploration in June 2020. According to the mayor Gianni Castagneri, a mining activity up there at altitude is unthinkable. A clear division emerged between extracting and refining countries on one side and consuming countries on the other. Many states have included the metals used for batteries in their critical raw materials list and are looking for ways to source cobalt from indigenous sources. As the ecological transition will require unprecedented raw materials to manufacture batteries, consequences for the climate, ecosystems, and local communities raise concerns. These actions will always face negotiation processes based on an estimation of benefits at national and local scales. This negotiation will be informed by the interpretation of the landscape these processes are willing to alter. The European Union's Green New Deal includes policies and programs that will encourage the expansion of mining, of non-renewable resources, with consequences for the climate, ecosystems, and local communities. Before embarking on this epic industrial quest, society has to answer one question: is it the right solution? Massive investments in research and development of cobalt-free batteries and cobalt recycling are necessary to improve the value chain and avoid replicating old exploitation processes. Scenarios must be proposed to respond to the climate emergency without further damaging the ecosystem and local communities in developing countries.